Welcome to On Point by Target River, the podcast where strategy meets execution with a little fun. I'm your host, Brian, and each episode will break down what actually works in marketing, sales, and growth so you can stay sharp, focused, and always on point. Let's dive in. This past fall, I was home in Las Vegas, and my wife and I had some chores to tackle that day on a Saturday. And we had a couple of grocery stores to go to because if you've ever shopped at Trader Joe's, you know that you can get a lot of great things there, but you still end up having to go somewhere else. So we were finished with one store, heading to the next, and my wife was driving along a road in our community. And as we were heading along the road, I noticed a young man around 19 or 20 years old sitting on the side of the road on a power box, just by himself. And as we passed, I looked at him and observed him just sitting there with kind of his head down in his hands. And it caught me off guard because it was a beautiful day out and it was kind of a random thing to see a person sitting on the side of a road on a power bunker. And my wife kept driving along and I just felt this kind of nudge or urge that maybe we should go back and talk to this young man. But of course, my brain was racing about everything that we had to accomplish that day. And so I was trying to push that thought behind me that we should turn around and talk to him. But the urge got stronger and stronger. And so we ultimately were approaching the next light, which was about a half mile down the road. And I just felt like we have to go back at this moment and talk to this young man. So I told my wife, look, I don't know what's going on, but I need you to make a U-turn. So we went back down the road and it took what seemed like multiple minutes to finally get to a position where we could make a U-turn and pull up next to this young man. So we pulled up, parked the vehicle. I got out of the vehicle just a few feet past him. And I walked up to him and introduced myself. And as he looked up, I saw that he was holding a large butcher knife in his hand. So I stopped and paused and didn't approach any further, but I was a few feet away from him. Now I noticed that there was no blood observable on the blade or any blood on him, but clearly something was going on, something was wrong at this moment. I said, my name's Brian. I'm here to help you. Whatever you need, I'm here to support you. I took a few steps back and told my wife what was going on because she couldn't see it from her vantage point in the driver's seat, and told her to call 911 because, again, I didn't know the situation or what was going on or what had happened before this young man chose to sit on the side of a road in the middle of a Saturday. Over the next 20 minutes or so, which seemed like a couple of hours, we waited for first responders to arrive. And every couple minutes, I would just remind this young man that I was there if he needed me and there to talk to if he wanted to talk. But regardless, I was going to be near his side while we waited for help to arrive. Eventually, help did arrive. Some first responders did come, and I was nervous and anxious about what might happen because I remembered just a handful of months earlier, there was another situation with a similar age young man up in Idaho where first responders arrived and he also was holding a knife in his hand and unfortunately was gunned down by those first responders. So in the back of my mind, I was just saying, please God, don't let a similar ending occur here. And thankfully it didn't. The police that did arrive called us and asked us to pull back around so they could ask me some questions about what was going on and in the circumstance that we had found this young man in. And thankfully, they were able to take the knife from him and get him some help and support. Now, I don't know the long term of the story or the outcome with this young man because I don't have any familial connection to him. So, of course, it was privacy matters and concerning what the outcomes were. But this is something that's haunted me, or I guess really had me thinking the past several months since that incident occurred this past fall. What was it at that moment, at that day, that made me willing to listen to a prompting or a nudge to pause and engage. Because I could have quite easily just not even said anything, and we could have gone about our day and gone to the other stores that we needed to. And what would have happened with that young man? I have no idea. But here is one thing I do know, that's that I'm grateful that at that moment, at that time, I was willing to listen and to take action. And as I've thought about that in my personal life, I've also thought about that in my professional life. How often, in either case, our personal or professional lives, do we have moments when we are closed off, when we're focused, our heads down, we're not paying attention to those around us, and we miss opportunities to interact with another person? Maybe it's not a serious situation like the one that I was in. Maybe it's just an opportunity to have a great, engaging conversation with somebody else. Maybe it's to offer them aid or support or help, again, in our personal or professional lives. But how often do we miss that chance because we're not available, or as I've come to say now, open for business? And as we think about what that means to be open for business, it's almost a literal physical thing too, right? Is our head up? Are our eyes open to observe those things that go around us or are going around us in that day? What are the interactions that we have an opportunity to have and to maybe be blessed by that interaction or to bless others? Maybe to bring a little lightness to this topic right now, I travel a lot, and I am a active or a frequent visitor of the TSA lines, security lines at airports across the country. And I joke that if I ever get arrested, my friends and family don't need to wonder what I did. It will be the fact that I lost it on a TSA agent, because I am challenged by the inconsistencies of the different airports that I travel to. And I realized that I could have a different perspective with my friends at the TSA, or that are TSA agents. What if instead of going into those interactions with a difficult mindset and one assuming that things would be challenging, that I took a different approach? So the past few months, I have tried to be much better about being open for business, having my head up, my eyes open, saying hello to those agents that are helping me. Just like this morning, as I boarded a flight in Las Vegas to fly up to Salt Lake City, where we're recording this segment, I took the opportunity to say hello to each TSA agent as I went about my day or going through the lines. I didn't even say anything when my bag took a couple of minutes to get through the scanning machines, like I might have last fall when I was a little grouchier with the TSA agents. And I thought about this because that's got to be a rough job, right? Because you're dealing with travelers like me who are antsy, want to get through the line, don't want to be disrupted, go through the travel process day after day, week after week. And it probably isn't the best job at times. So what could I do that might be a little different for them? I've tried to bring this into my professional life more and more. One of the things that we do at our company is we have a tool that allows us to complete a weekly survey, each individual, just a quick check-in, a quick pulse on how your week was. And it covers 3 categories: your workload, your stress level, and your morale. And it has a simple color chart, from red, being it was rough, to dark green, meaning it was really good, or somewhere in between. It also gives you the opportunity to put a comment there, why it was extremely good, your morale, or why you were a bit more stressed, or the workload was a little heavier. This simple little introduction and the ability for us in management to review these things has given us insights into the day-to-day and week-to-week of our staff. It's helped us identify areas where we could improve processes, where we could help those maybe who are a little bit burdened with stress or workload and provide some relief to them. But it's also opened up the door for amazing conversations, ones that I would say would never have occurred before. as we learn and we hear, wow, the reason you had a great week was because you got to celebrate an anniversary or a birthday, or gosh, it was a tough week because a loved one or a friend is battling a sickness or ailment that we now know of, and we're able to rally around and support that individual. That is being open for business in our business, and it's making a transformational difference. In organizations, we often talk about the bottom lines that we have and the goals and the expectations, right? And the things we need to achieve, the sales or whatever it might be. And those are important for sure. And we need those in business so we know what we're looking to achieve and what we're striving for. But I would say, as we've taken steps to further engage each of our staff and to be more open and in dialogue, it has helped the bottom line arguably more than anything else we've done. It's improved our sales, it's improved our interaction, it's improved our morale, and so much more, which has elevated the overall performance of our team, as well as the work that we do for our clients. So today's a little different of a topic than maybe some of the others that we've covered in On Point with Target River. So to bring it back to that title of On Point, I guess my challenge really to me, but to others that are listening, is, are you on point with this concept of being open for business in your life, professionally and personally? What are things that you can do to be more on point and more intentional and direct in your conversations that you have with others, whether that's over the phone or an in-person interaction with a loved one or a coworker or a complete stranger? If we're more open and on point for those opportunities, incredible things can happen. Things that we might not even know occurred. Maybe it was that simple conversation or that hello that we gave to somebody that made the difference in their life that day. So my takeaway, be open for business. Have your head up, have your eyes open, look for opportunities to engage with others and to be blessed along the way. Thanks for listening to On Point by Target River. If you're ready to grow your organization with real strategy that generates meaningful results, visit targetriver.com and connect with our team today. Stay focused, stay winning, and stay on point. We'll see you next time.